Hey, what's up everybody? The CrossFire Legends Championship continues here today with the national qualifiers for Malaysia still underway. And each of these teams, it's coming to a very short close really soon. A couple of days left here for the Swiss stage. My name is Getting Q, of course, here today with Sagi once again. Welcome all who are watching, and better yet, those who are in Malaysia to check out our professional teams.
And the professional teams are doing exceptionally good here, with the top leaderboard featuring O2 Esports, IG Independent Gang Esports, and also third place at TXD here. But of course, if you haven't really got into the game itself and want to check out more of CrossFire Legends here, do check out the pre-registered tab right now, because the game does come out on 16 December. Scan that QR code and be the first ones to enter the game when the time comes.
Hey, who knows? Maybe you're going to be the next people contesting for that top spot here at the CrossFire Legends Championship. Because let me tell you, the competition has been a little stiff. Now that we've kind of separated some of the gold from the rest of the dirt and the mud, I think that right now it's very clear who's going to be sitting on top. But even then, I feel like there are three brackets of contenders.
The three brackets of contenders that we've seen so far definitely featuring O2, IG, and TXD, and this will be the tournament format that we have so far for the Malaysian National Qualifiers here. Teams play through the Open Qualifiers. The top four of each region qualify to their own respective National Qualifiers here. That is where we have 6 teams comprising of 4 Open Series teams and 2 invited pro teams here, and then the top 4 of the current group stage will advance to the National Qualifier Finals here. Next up will be top 2 of the National Qualifier Finals, which is the current one. Then they will advance to the main event, which is the CrossFire Legends C Championship.
Yep. And as we go by next year, there's still going to be plenty of action to kind of round this entire tournament out before we start getting back into that regular season. I mean, the group stage alone is a month long. I mean, just in case you guys don't see the scale of how big this tournament actually is, here's our schedule and our calendar. Keep in mind that as these teams currently play right now for the national qualifiers, it's really important to understand that they're playing for 2,500 USD just for being the champions of a game that hasn't even come out yet.
It's like the prerequisite towards the big tournaments, right? This is like the first incentive, then you qualify yourselves to the C Championship. That's when the big bucks start coming in here. But of course, covering back the prize pool coming in for their own respective national qualifiers here, aside from being champion, runner-up, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and 6th, if you're the MVP or the best performing team in the tournament, you get an additional $100 into your pockets.
Yep. There's still plenty of bonuses to be given around, because once again, this is going to be just a little bit of a taste of what is to come for those who are playing CrossFire Legends. Let's talk about our participating teams. Now, if everybody from around the world happen to be coming into the Malaysian broadcast, welcome, thank you. But if you want to watch your individual regions, the Philippines, Indonesia, and as well as Thailand are all happening as this is going by in their own individual regions. For us here in Malaysia, we have Quattro Knights, we have MAL, we have Independent Gang Squad, Esports, Invoker Squad, O2 Esports, and TXD. Sorry, it's Independent Gang Esports, IG Esports.
Yep, IG Esports here coming in from Malaysia. O2 and TXD, these 3 teams are comprising the top 3 teams coming in towards the group stage here. And if you do not realize it yet, teams with big names and brands are starting to come into the esports side of CFL. You have Onyx, Evos coming in from Indonesia. You have Full Sense, E-Arena, Vampire Esports coming in from Thailand here. And from Malaysia, we're still a growing region. We do see teams like O2 Esports with different players, ex-pro players coming in from different games participating in the CFLC for Malaysia.
I mean, we've been playing the PC port here in Southeast Asia for a good amount of time, and now that it's transitioned over into mobile, I think it's time for us to start getting our hands in on this. Let's look at our upcoming schedule here today, because kicking things off, it's the MAL facing off O2, then IG taking on TXD, Invoker Squad versus the Quattro Knights at the end.
I think the star matchup coming in today is definitely going to be the 6:30 matchup on towards the round robin 11. Independent Gang Esports going up against TXD, 2 of the teams that are super strong in their respective factor. IG yet to suffer a single loss in the group stage, and TXD, although they're 2-1, they only suffered a loss with a 7-6 scoreline against O2 Esports here. Definitely something to look out for today's tournament.
Definitely looking like they've got, experience. It definitely feels like they're a little crispier than most people, especially for touching the game ahead of time from everybody else. And all of this is thanks to our sponsors. Once again, big shout out to our sponsors, Oppo here. It's the series Oppo A6 Pro. Kini dilancarkan direct untuk ketahanan prestasi seperti baru, built to last. Persistence like it's brand new. It's exactly what you want in a phone, and it's exactly what our professionals are using to make sure that they have the crispiest shots here in CrossFire Legends.
Wait. So if I get that phone Oppo, I can play like Drax? Okay, sign me up right now. But of course, if you want a crystal clear camera coming in for your own face here, do check out OBS Bot Meet 2 gaming webcam here. Exactly the one that I'm using right now. 4K HD. Rakam keunggulan Anda, stream legacy Anda. Get it now so you can forge your own legacy, not only in Crossfire, but in your social life.
Yep, record those highlight moments and maybe you could not be single. With that being said though, we've got our upcoming games today, and of course you guys can participate just by watching for now, but pre-register while you're at it to maximize your time. Be a little efficient with everyday life. And with that being said though, based on what we've seen here in the standings and what we saw yesterday, there is a lot of high expectation for that second best of one. But our first best of one between MAL and as well as O2, we saw that MAL, they have strats, they don't have the mechanical skill necessarily, or maybe they're just a little cold yesterday in comparison to O2, who are looking sharp. 7 O's all the way through.
And the first map will be featured coming in with O2 on the global risk side and blacklist on towards the blacklist side here for MAL. As you can see, global risk already taking a charge here. A lot of poke damage already being sent down by O2.
Sugus and Zwebu facing the shots coming in for Jax's W-Kid. Oh! Manages to at least find one trade at the bare minimum, but Sugus still goes down. Naksu looking for a little bit more. Manages to get a trade for the defensive side as Mang's last to fall. Really good stuff here coming from the global risk side. O2 just making sure that they're playing in pairs and can actually double up on their angles.
Yeah, O2, although on towards the defending side, they're playing really aggressive, scouting out those 1v1s here. As we see Drax landing those nades, smoking on towards the mid side here. But we see an aggressive push here coming in from MAL to this long.
Yep, they want to make sure here by B. It's a very far up push coming in from W-Kid. He even came in with a hard flash as well to try and turn this into his advantage, and he still finds it with 2 HP. Now he has the C4 covered on his side, giving the defensive side an opportunity as Drax goes down, turning this into a 3v1 scenario, into a 1v1 scenario, and it's so winnable for Mang. W-Kid literally at 5 HP.
Oh my god, that corner here coming in from Mang, getting that triple kill and bringing the team back to an equal footing right now with superior HP bars coming in for the side of Mang. Right now, his job is to retrieve the C4, but take a look at W-Kid though. He's holding the angle. He knows for a fact that Mang is looking for that bomb retrieval here. He's going. Does he spot him though?
Oh, it looks like he has to turn the corner, and Mag spots him out, put down to 7 HP. 1 bullet connected, and that's all they needed. Luckily, still has util. And W-Kid, he's making an early call here. I love it. He's not even deciding upon B or A. He knows for a fact that he wants to go into the B side, and he's eliminating all the options. And now, coming through mid doors.
This is a very interesting one. He gets backstab coming in for the side of W-Kid. W-Kid clutches around and denies the comeback coming in from MAL's Mang. This is a painful one coming in from MAL.
Yeah, that's gotta hurt for him. That has got to hurt for sure. He's coming in with an SMG as well, right? So the fact that he found 3 also goes to the testament of the weapons he's bringing onto the table. He's a much harder target to hit, especially with a submachine gun in hand.
A full B-side entry here coming in for side MAL. Can go here, spawning out the first few members here, but does get it down by W-Kid here onto his first kill here. W-Kid dangerously low here, but the kills are just going into the side of O2 Esports, and they are not stopping on the aggression here. With more members, eye shots covering the angle. 1-for-1 exchange. Kai-chan, full health bars here, has to cover the angle. C4 already dropped, but members coming in for side O2. They are finding the members just. Kai-chan, can you find a 1v1 against Drax? He does! And MAL make the reverse coming in towards this round.
Yep, they understood exactly what they needed to do. If O2 are going to keep on looking for those bigger trades, we're just going to commit more bodies on that one site. They turned it into a 2v2 at the very end there, but it really just boils down to, can you cover every angle after? Now, The Nates instantly come back out here on the defending side. They've already pushed out of sight, knowing that they're going to lock them in, and they're going for a pincer maneuver here as iShots in the flank manages to take out 2 already as the front line is held behind the smokes.
But look at the angles here being covered by the side of MAL, but Naksu here picking off people in towards the smoke here. He doesn't know where the full extent of the enemy is. 3v3. Superior health bars here. Naksu gets taken down. Mang, he knows the location of the side of Helton here. Helton gets the first one. Tries to kite it off. 1v1. Ice shots with Kengo here. Who wins this?
They're about to collide. He's making too much noise, and iShots taking full advantage of the scenario. Realizes that he's not 100% sure where iShots is. He misses the first shot, and iShots wasted opportunity here, because now with the C4 in hand, he's gonna run straight all the way into the A side. He can take his time. He can fake it as well.
He's camping.
He still has 56 seconds. He makes contact, and unfortunately, iShots misses again. Costs him 30 HP. 1 bullet connecting. He's
holding the angle.
He can do this.
Wait. He's turning around. He doesn't know. Okay, both are playing with utter cautious here, with the side of iShots already rotating himself towards the A side here. For Kengo, he's juking, he's waiting for a decision here. No one knows where the bomb is at right now. Kengo does successfully plant the C4 on towards A side. Now, this is the 1v1 moment. Who clutches this? Because Kengo, he can play time. He can play the angles here.
Oh, let's see. Is there going to be a fake diffuse sound first, or is he going to clear the angle? He hears the footsteps first! Kengo just breaking out of the patience right at the very end. He heard the small footsteps. They heard each other. They instantly swung upon it. It really came down to that 1v1. Great play coming in here from iShots. Great flank as well.
And you can see yesterday Drax had an amazing series, but today iShot stood up and he's performing super consistently in for the side of O2 Esports here. As we can see, more aggression coming in for the side of O2, already covering mid, and they are putting a spread on towards A and B side.
Now, the big problem with this map, as most people can tell, is that the util angles, especially when you're throwing for lineups, it's a lot easier for the defensive side, which is why you're seeing them being so aggressive. iShots, once again, long flank coming in from A long, as B long itself is being held. These corridors are dangerous, and Helton tries to go for the entry frag, putting Sugus at 2 HP, and now this leaving them in a 4v3 scenarios can go, as now the flank comes on through from iShots. This has disrupted the entire flow for MAL.
Yeah, Mang here coming in with the flank here, does go into 1v1 versus Drax here. But with only 5 HP, how does this win this 1v1? Because it's not looking good for him. And he does get taken down. Once again, O2 coming in strong in almost the first half here with a 4-1 lead. But you can really see O2, they're not playing defensive on the defense side. They're going super aggressive and cornering MAL from actually going on the terrorist side.
Yeah, I mean, that's the important part. They got to make sure that the blacklist side does not go too far. And now, C4 in hand, same plan once again to try to push their way into B. I think they have to just give this up. They know that iShots is going to start coming out. They've done this 2 rounds in a row. A third time is inevitable here. And they've got 1 man planted, and that's Mang, one of their better players, ready to deal with iShots.
Yeah, Helton already getting 2 kills on towards the backside here. Almost getting a 3 here though, but Mang surviving on towards the onslaught here. But you can see the remaining members coming in for side of MAL already taken down, and the first side for the first half rewarded to Global Risk O2 Esports. But we do go into a side swap here. Maybe this brings a sign of life back to MAL in the second half.
Possibly. They could throw a molly or maybe even like a smoke down into the mid side just to make sure that O2 don't get this every single time. And that's what they're doing this time, right? They're going to be throwing flashes though and smokes just to make sure that they can slow down anybody who's potentially holding the angles. But it looks like they're gone for a very split side for the defense, right? iShots now on B. A side being held by... Oh, hold on. Can't go already find it.
He's already on the flank right now, entering and lurking through B side here, capturing 2 already on towards his gun here. But with A and B side simultaneously being broken apart here, this is not looking good for MAL as the sole survivor Kai-chan gets taken down. A triple kill goes over to the hands of Helton.
When you're trying to take out fingers, aim for the joints, right? That's exactly what MAL is trying to do. They're trying to segment the map in half, or at the very least cut them into thirds, right? And O2 just wasn't prepared for how quick MAL was going to run up mid, so they're going to do it again, and Natsu this time ends up going down.
WK coming in from the window here. You can see a swift entry coming in for side of O2 here. WK gets taken down here, making it 4v3 in favor for the side of O2 here. Helton goes into the 1v1 with Mang. Does get taken off here, but with the cavalry coming in for the side of O2. Remaining members taking the angle here. iShots goes into the 1v1 with the sole member and Bugle here, and that will be series point and handed over to the side of O2 Esports in the first match of today.
And that's how you close out around here. O2, they were a little shocked at what MAL was trying to do, but immediately they figured out how to deal with the problem, right? Again, it comes down to information gathering, and unfortunately, we didn't see much of a default coming in from MAL to find that information, expecting O2 to be just as aggressive for the consecutive rounds, but that's why we see that, at least for O2, their adaptability on the fly, if it doesn't work, alright, immediately change.
And you remember the fact that you were talking about these lineups that are really important in towards these early days? O2 Esports, they're really doing these. Immediately at the round start, they're throwing smokes, they're throwing entry frags here, and then they start moving in as a team, colliding and making sure that the side of their opponents are suffering from the lack of space to play.
Exactly, and that's why mid is such an important part to contest in the map, right? Which is why we saw that O2 again, early frags, early flashes, and even early smokes down by the mid side to deny that information to eventually set up for a flank, depending on whether it's attacking A or B. That's why they have feelers, right? They have people pushing up far into B long. They have eye shots coming in from the A side as well from A long, just to make sure that they can guarantee the information of, hey, there's no lurkers right now. Potentially one person is holding mid, the rest of them, based on audio alone, there's probably 3 in B. We can make a confident decision here.
And I gotta give props towards the IGL coming in for the side of O2 Esports. On the defensive side, the way that they move around the map is very fast and clean. And on towards the attacking side, you know for a fact that they're playing on a fast timer. The round starts immediately, they don't give any thinking time for their opponents. It's just straight smokes all towards the gates, all towards the mid side, and then pick one side, immediately enter. They only leave one member on their team to guard a specific choke point, and then the enemy has to put so much resource in getting that information here, and by the time they realize, 4 members from the side of O2 has already entered the site.
Yep, and that's the thing, right? Every single time it boils down to whether or not you find that entry frag. Now, I did make a mistake earlier saying that Naksu was the first one to go down. It was actually Sugus who was taken out by Naksu, again, early on that final round itself, and it just goes to show how important having these utils are really for, whether it's not for early denial of information or at the very least to slow down pushes, which is something that we didn't see too often. Maybe towards the end we saw a little bit of adaptation coming in from MAL to try and, oh hey, if they're going to be this aggressive, then we can start setting up these smokes early, but I do think that the positioning of those smokes is not exactly in their favor, especially when they are on the attacking side. Defensive side has a really big advantage here because they can take up a lot of the space on both sides because how big the map is overall.
And so far we observed these games coming in from day 1 all the way to day 4 and day 5. For teams like O2, IG, and TXD, the way that they play is not only with superior mechanics, it's also very well thought of what side to attack, how many players to distribute on either sides. Is there someone on the flank? Is there someone on towards the lurk? Who's gonna be on the defensive side holding the angles here? But of course, we do have to prize O2 because every single member did their role in the game to really contribute to this 7-1 dominating first game.
Yes, they really did. Everybody got involved here. Drax not just completely sweeping the floor. MAL put enough resistance to force him to respect them, and everybody else stepped up. And it's great to see that O2 doesn't have just, depending on Drax or depending on eye shots to make things happen. They just need to go in. And W-Kid as well, great defensive player. I think that so far he's shown a lot of promise, especially on his first couple of engagements against MAL, that we should keep an eye on him for the upcoming future.
I agree with you because during the highlights, we saw for a fact that W-Kid hold on so many of these angles in the first half, but to give a consistency towards a standout player, it has to be eye shots here. From start to finish, he was covering so much firepower with 169 ADR and 4 headshots in the total of his 13 kills. He was laying a lot of firepower, almost 13 and 6, involved in 19 kills.
Oh yeah, he was, again, once he figured out that they are responding to him specifically, that's when he's telling Drax, hey, yo, Your KDA is not doing that well. You want a chance? You want an opportunity to do something? Come with me. Push through mid. We're gonna flank together.
Yeah, with that coming in, O2 Esports take a commanding victory coming over to the side of MAL in our round robin number 10 here. But we know for a fact that today, the spotlight definitely has to be going on towards IG against TXD. These two teams, they are up the top three here. Does TXD pull down IG and equalize out their score, or does IG continue on their 3-0 into a 4 undefeated streak here? That's something I want to find out.
And TXD so far, I mean, the only tough times they've actually had by far here during the CrossFire Legends Championship only has been to O2, right? I think everybody else, they generally have been able to kind of like blow over, maybe give a couple of rounds sometimes, but most of the time easily just blow through everybody else. So I would like to see where Invoker Squad, IG actually lie. Are they in that upper echelon, or are they just before the two professional teams?
Yeah, because they haven't really went through TXD and O2, right? They went through the, I would say, the lower tier teams coming in towards the tournament, which is the Open Series team in that bottom 4. So right now, the true test comes. Can they break through TXD and O2? And if they can, they're going to be a very strong force to be reckoned with coming into the group stage, into that playoffs.
Yeah, and I think they're going to be playing on the upcoming map Power Supply, so we'll see whether or not that's going to make a difference here, because based on what we've seen for the other couple of days, IG, especially when Yonzi gets that initial entry, they really start to spill in extremely fast. So I would like to see how TXD decides to like handle him. Is it going to be a situation where it's like Paburu alongside with Yonzi, both we got to take out one of these two players and then we instantly win a round, or do other members start to step up and create those opportunities?
And with how much time they actually have to prepare for the tournament here, there's also one concern. Have they really memorized the specific angles, the specific corners coming in for the new map? They're playing on Power Supply here with limited time in scrims and practices here. The experience really sometimes outshine their micro mechanics here, because when they enter a specific like area, they don't know which angle the enemies are actually holding off onto them. So interested to see how they play on the rotating side, attack side, defense side, the blacklist, and also the side of the blue side here. So I want to see what comes for these two teams.
Yeah, I think it boils down to mechanics and tactical, tactical FPS style game knowledge and game sense, right? Like what's the order of angles you need to start looking at when you start to breach and start fragging out in your side, or when you're looking for an entry, right? Those are important things to keep in mind about, because then if you are able to get create enough space to get certain parts of the map, then you can start having access to lineups that block off spawn, or better yet, even can slow down rotations from the opposite side. Either way, I would like to see us beat that first threshold of this is not a battle of mechanics, this is a battle of can we outsmart our opponent.
Correct. So far in the first series, you have seen already O2 Esports with their proper game plan, how they assign numbers towards specific sites, and how they enter sites with their aggressive and defensive smokes. Those are already signs of improvement coming in towards the side of O2 here. So for this upcoming matchup, IG going up against TXD, I'm hoping to see a much more closer fight with more strategic choices here for these two squads.
Yeah, and I mean, the weapon choices have been a little interesting. Every once in a while, somebody is whipping out a shotgun as a secondary. Other times, like even in the previous game, like an SMG, coming into some pretty important angles in those like tight underpass style corridors by satellite, like Belong for an example, right? With the multiple boxes, tight corridors, you need a high penetration while a decent rate of fire to kind of keep multiple enemies at bay. Those are like the useful sides of SMGs in those types of maps. But we're not going to see it as often. Most people are still going to lean back into the M4A1 or right back into the AK. Both are super reliable for the most part of it. So far, based on what we've seen, right, the AK Mulan version, I personally find very, very nice. Extra capacity, a little bit more stability on your sprays, very high penetration as well. Very, real fun gun to use despite it only being a skin.
Oh yeah, and yesterday I think we had more focus on towards the sniper rifles like the Barrett, like the AWM.
Yes.
And people were just like, round start, we fight mid. Whoever gets that first snipe here removes the number advantage for their team, and then they go in aggressively for that entry point here. So Interested to see whether IG or TXD. Yesterday we've seen a lot of these sniper users on their team in the hands of Yanzi, in the hands of Pamburu here. So do they bring it out in the upcoming series? That's gonna be something to look out for coming in towards that second match of today.
Considering what their roles are, I feel like it's more likely that Pamburu is going to have access to it. But to be fair, it is power supply, right? There are a couple of places on this map that you can use the AWM relative effectiveness, right? And it really just depends on the movement of the enemy teams, because a lot of teams, as of right now, don't look to deny information early on, whether it's because they don't respect the opponents and they know they can out-mechanic them. But I think more so just to make sure that they don't get that first shot off, they always do that dry peek and then go for the smoke just to double confirm their homework.
It's more of a risky play style, right? It's like you're not really that disciplined, but you're going for a high risk, high reward play. If you can pick off it, great. If you don't pick it up and you get picked up instead, not the best story here for teams that actually choose to rely on the more risky situation, right? So I want to see more smoke plays, more rotational bases, and angle holding, the crossfire, like the game of the name here, coming in for these two squads.
Hey, I don't mind seeing those types of flanks like what iShots was doing, especially if they're going to go with an aggressive opener. Keep in mind, our upcoming game, it's going to be IG versus TXD. IG is going to be on the global risk side, facing up against TXD on the blacklist side here on power supply. Now, TXD, let's see how their attacking is going to be, right? Because I was hoping that maybe IG were going to be the first ones on the attacking side.
But hey, they do take a rotation if they can make it through that first 6th round with utter ease here. But you can see an aggressive attack here coming in from TXD, moving a lot of members into that A side here with number 3, Appy here holding on towards that B side.
Yep, and the smokes are already coming out, right? A bit of a late rotation and a bit of a late setup here for the B side, but the flank is already coming super late on, and I think they figured out that that's only going to be one flank player on their side. They've already found one in Minor. Kabal loses his head, unfortunately. Great shots coming in from Noob. Dian now trying to come in through it to Heaven side to break into the side of A. Knows that there's at least 2. Sees 3. Has to play on the backside. Unfortunately, gets flushed out by 2. With full control over the site, they now take the advantage to plant the C4.
Yeah, Zico and Yanzi here has to play the retake with utter chaos here. Yanzi takes the first peek here, gets the first kill on towards the side of Appy here, waiting for Zico to come in towards his assist. Take a look at Zico here. He's flanking, silencing his footsteps here. Yanzi might be able to catch the timing here on towards Haynuk here. He does get on towards Auto here, immediately going for an aggressive end. 1v1 with Haynuk here. He gets another one but gets taken down. And that was an insane play coming in from Yanzi here. A triple in towards his pockets, and that allows TXD to remove their aggression in this first round.
Oh boy, and immediately match pause is called. There's like no way. There's no way that Yanzi gets to take out 3 of us just like that. Something had to have happened. First time out being called by TXD Esports, and I think it's a good call here, especially if that's what costed them 3 heads to Yanzi.
And it was looking really good for TXD, right? They removed 3 members coming in for that IG, and then they enter A side, and they were holding multiple angles on towards the planted C4. But Yanzi got the first peek on towards the side of Otok, and then immediately swung, got Haynoob, and landed the final shot on towards Kachang 7. So, a very consistent performance coming in from yesterday in towards today coming in from IG's Yanzi.
Really good stuff. And I want to see if he can keep up that performance throughout the rest of the match, right? Because again, I feel like personally, if IG has just been watching the show in general, rewatching the VODs to get information, they'll know that Yanzi is one of those guys who likes to find those first bloods, who likes to open up that site. He's got the mechanical prowess to do so. And I feel like right now, we're not going to see too much of it because they're trying to avoid him and taking a risky 50-50 with the information that they got off of B with their flank, or that they're just going to say, you know what, we're just going to util him so that he can't play the game at all.
Yeah, I think util hasn't been the main focus coming in towards this round 1 in this match too. So maybe to limit Yanzi, more of these smokes to forbid that aggressive engage coming in for the side of IG, or more of these nades and flashbangs to limit the fast entry of this specific player here. And interesting enough, on towards the attacking side as well, Minor is still going aggressive with that AWM setup.
It is an AWM setup, and it does have its uses here. We see that Paburu is the one who's having issues right now. We're going to get him kind of reconnected back into the game, and once we do, we can kick this game off once again. But it's an impressive start, right? It's an impressive start, and I think that the util really does matter for TXD especially, right? Because they had some really good plays just outside the spawn, the global risk spawn, right? Wait, no, is that the global risk spawn? Yes, that's the global risk spawn side. So what was happening is that TXD has a bit of a one person on site. They smoke off one spawn section around the backhand, and they have somebody waiting around on the opposite corridor ready to peek out on their call. They hear the information, he throws the smoke, and then he throws a flash through the smoke so we can't see it coming, react to it, and then they found the trade. So I feel like TXD have a better usage of individual utility during the moment in comparison to IG, but it's not like IG doesn't respond, right? They see util coming from TXD, they respond back to it.
Yeah, I think for the side of TXD, what they did is already actually very well planned out. It's more of the micro mistakes coming in when in the final few moments here. You can see at the A side here, the boxes, the way that TXD was positioning, they were holding multiple angles here, and the moment if Yonzi actually walks into the C4 area due to time pressure, he's going to be immediately picked off with the crossfire coming in from the multiple members. But timing is an essence, and Yonzi did get the first pick into the multi-kills here on the site itself. So these are micro mistakes that can be fixed going into the series.
Yeah, or maybe just, you know, don't spam all of your util. If you had one molly there, he could have denied 3 people access into the site, or at the very least brass taxed them. You know, if you had a frag as well, that could have been plenty of damage. At the end of the day, I think that the pit position is really, really dangerous unless they have no idea you're there. Unfortunately, they knew exactly where the 2 members were, right? They were having 2 angles being pushed in at once from that heaven side. Now, coming into round 2, let's see the adaptations, because it looks like it's a very similar setup for TXD once again.
Yeah, nades here coming in from TXD towards the short on towards the right-hand side here. You can see the aggressive input here. Do they go for this 4-man into a 5-man rotation towards A? IG holding off the angles here. Who's going to be the entry frag for the side of TXD? They do pick up the end, making it a already 5v2 favorable one for TXD.
And that's how you use your utils. Not Yonzi, able to find 2 for himself. There is an opportunity to maybe try and deny the plant here. No, they're not going to take it just yet. They're going to be a little patient about it. They know that they're at a man disadvantage. You can see that Yonzi is taking this time to rotate all across, but he needs to make sure that his partner is with him throughout this fight. They've smoked off the side. Oh, and a blind fire from Zinko allows him in. 2 in pit so far.
Yeah, 20 seconds on the clock right now. They need to get more retrained kills here coming in to really limit this defuse. Kachang 7 already taking down Yonzi here. 1v2 does not go in favor for that TXD, and this time with a similar scenario, TXD comes out on top in that round 2.
Oh man, that was a close one. Very, very, very close to position here. But I think the post plants were just a little too good here. That's how you utilize the pit, making sure that the angles aren't going to be as easy. And better yet, they had util to work with to slow him down.
Yeah, right now we see a bit of a molly and smoke action here to really limit TXD's approach in towards this A side here. With Appy as well holding on towards B side, it does forces him to rotate and go for an aggressive take here. Pamburu getting a first kill on towards Minor here. Goes to a 1v1 against Zico here with the assisting fire coming in towards Haynoob here. Members of IG are getting taken down one after another here. Kupao, does he see it though? No. He gets the shot, gets taken down. Yonzi in a 1v4. Does he able to actually get this sick play once again?
Well, let's see. Yonzi made the right call to push the B smoke, knowing that a majority of the members here, only maybe the lurker could have contested him for that space.
Now you see setup coming in for the side of TXD though. They hold off every angle so well here, and Yonzi being tapped off here, only a 20% health left.
10 HP and a dream.
Not easy.
Not easy at all. Easiest one would be Pamburu, but even then, Pamburu just pre-firing the angle. did not let go of the fire button at all. Yeonzi runs right into it as we head into round 4.
They're really making IG think that, hey, round 1 was a fluke. We messed up on our angles here. We didn't hold it off. We weren't patient enough. And right now, we're showing the full extent of what we can actually do here. Similar start once again. TXD going on for the aggressive A-side rotation.
A more passive defense approach coming in from IG on the A side. Rather than contesting the corridors, they're going to hold crossfires on their side, blocking up both entrances, assuming that one gets the smoke. And whoever was on that B side is already rotated over to make sure that Yeonzi is going to be backed up. And Miner, he takes him down at the very least. The trades are good, but unfortunately not good enough to find profit in comparison to the global risk. IG doing great. Kumburu able to find one back, turning this into a 3v2. Zinko loses his life as Yeonzi with a jump shot. Now 8-2 on his KDA. Must face off Gachang 7 and Otok by himself.
He needs to play this 2v1 with utter care here, but angles being covered for the side of TXD. He's jumping in. He does get first information on towards the side of Otok here. How does he play this here? He gets caught off by Kachang 7. Doesn't get the trade-off here. And once again, in a clutch situation, TXD punishes the 2v1 favorable numerical advantage for their own benefit.
Oh man, too close for Kachang 7. He cannot afford to miss those shots like that. Luckily, Otok was able to find it at the very end there, but still, a dangerous situation, especially in 2v1, and especially since Yeonzi was the only person who found 3 kills against your team.
And TXD really loves that aggressive A push here. You can see 4 members collapsing in towards it, and Kopao goes to the bomb. Pamburu.
Nice.
Pamburu gets that shot, but he does get traded off. Zico gets the nade on towards Haynoob here. Back to a 4v4. HP superior. A jump shot coming in from Kachang 7 takes away Zico.
Well, he wasn't expecting that. Making up for the previous round. 2v3. Dian trying to hold off as long as possible, but here comes Yeonzi and Miner coming into the pit to try and clear every single angle. Kachang 7 finds one. Can he get another? No! He just puts it down to Appy and as well as Miner. Yeonzi out of the picture. Kachang 7 has done his work, and now Appy just has to be patient.
Appy has a C4. He's rotating towards the B side here to get that C4 plant. So for Miner, he needs to be moving. He needs to understand that this play is going to be a clutch 1v1 situation. Because if IG loses this round, that's going to be such a disadvantage before going into that second half of this best of 7.
Right now, Appy is hiding in the back side as Miner, slowly creeping his way. He does not want to make a single noise. 26 seconds left on the clock, and he needs to get to backside somehow, but he must make sure that every single one of these angles are clear, because he has no idea he's backside.
He has Molly, he has Flashbang. He can play this if he wants to go for it here.
He needs info.
He's looking. 12 seconds though. He needs to swing this. There's not enough time to defuse. You need 6 seconds to defuse here. Oh no.
He's giving it up.
No, this is already a TXD round.
Yep. And now he just doesn't want to give it away. Lets it explode at the very end here. Nicely played here by Appy, making 0 noise. And honestly, he waited until the very last second to go for that peek in the first place, so he knows his bomb timers.
Hey, 0-3, but you clutch those 1v1s. You make it out big for the side of TXD's Appy here. And once again, we see a bit of a change of strategy here coming in from TXD. Going aggressive on towards the B side, faking A with those utils here. And Zico being the first to fall on has an auto. This is a complete free sight coming in from TXD.
And the one thing that Zico's death could provide was information. He saw 3 people, heard 3 gunshot sounds, 2 walk out of the smoke. It's a full rotation for the side of IG with 3 of their members coming in through spawn. And at least for Yeonzi, back on that flank once again.
But all these angles are being held so nicely coming in for the side of TXD here. It's going to be super difficult for the IG members to actually enter this site. But Kapal, he is in the smokes here. How does he want to play this? Because time is an essence.
Use the util. Oh no, they're just trying to spam through the smokes. They're trying to make sure that they can't break out through the battle lines. And they've already lost 2. Otok and Kachang 7 hold the entire site down. Hey noob, part of the ride. Enjoying the time.
Yeah, TXD on this first half, once again, leading the series 5-1. In the group stage, TXD is 2-1 and IG is 3-0. But TXD looking to make an easy work on towards the opponents here.
Yeah, right now, I think that IG just needs to deny the plant, right? Most of the time, that's what it's boiled down to. They're taking these really good crossfire angles. Sometimes they even find advantages, then they just go too far, right? Stick to the objectives and defend the site. And if you're not going to be aggressive, right? As you can see on the B side, Paburu, he finds one. Can he get a second one? Can he get a second one here?
He doesn't need to. Already a numbers advantage for side TXD. This in attack coming in from IG, it's gonna be really difficult with a numbers disadvantage right now. You can see they're deciding, do they go for the A side or make a return and re-rotate back towards the B side here? This is a very important decision here. As we see, nades do come true. Appy holding the angle here, got information for his team here, goes for the backfire here, but does get taken down. Appy, Pamburu down, TXD losing members on towards the board.
Oh, no! Hey, Noob decides to go for a swing at the worst possible time. He should have waited just a little bit longer for the rest of his teammates, especially for Kachung7 to get into position. They've got an AWM to work with. Just let him work with the picks.
Not easy.
Misses two.
Oh, he gets a snipe.
Gets one.
Alright, has the molly though. Uses the util here, playing with 25 seconds timer here. And having the clutch of AWN is not an easy feat, especially the clock is ticking extremely hard here. You need 6 seconds to defuse here, so within these next few seconds, you need to flick and get all the kills. He does get it though. Does he go for a re-pick? But no, Yonzi denies it, holds the crossfire and gets that return kill on towards the side of Heinu and Kachung7.
And that's the big danger with the pit. It's such a wide area. You don't know if somebody is hiding between one of the 3 boxes that are standing up. They're crouching behind it. You just have to hard clear it every single time. Now, first kill is already through. Zico losing his life once again. And this was supposed to be the attacking flank from IG, which means they have to double up their efforts here. Maybe expecting a flank of their own. With 2 members already down, the defense has made them crumble.
Yeah, a triple kill goes over to the side of Otok here on towards Miner here, and they go for the 1v1. Yonzi gets taken down, and that was a quick round coming in for the side of TXD as they get the series point on hand. One more loss, and TXD will claim this series.
The information that you get from the kill feed alone, right? Maybe even if you didn't see the IGNs, right? You only see one person creeping up that corridor down by B long. You just know that it's going to be a full A split attack, right? So unless you see nobody or less commitment, I think that for now, the attacking side, they gotta slow down their pace. Yeah, plant people, expecting people to start lurking out.
Yeah, Kachung7 though has the angle here, but does throw some util here. With the AWM constantly being held pressured here, Dozzy goes in for the aggressive swing here, gets 2, does trade his life for it in this case, but 2v3 in favor once again for TXD.
Oh. Oburu, he's on the site, and he's not letting it go. Not making it easy. The C4 is wide out in the open.
Oh, no.
He's just got to fight, and he's running a shotgun still.
Wow, this is not going to be easy coming in for the side of Dian here because he looks to the retake, but it's just so many crossfire angles that's been covered by TXD's Appy and also Pamburu here. So he needs to pick them off one by one. Just starting off with this play.
Oh wait, no, it's actually a Thompson, not a shotgun, my bad. Man, just take him out anyways. Not an easy weapon to utilize, especially for if you're dedicated to just hitting and popping heads from afar. TXD, take the round here in our second best of 1. Really good execution overall. I would say that at the very least, from the side, from the opposing side of IG, definitely a couple of moments of brilliance, but unfortunately, just unable to get more effective trades.
I think Yonzi was a really good player in terms of individual mechanics here, but as a collaborative effort coming in for the side of TXD, it was much more consistent and well coordinated here. Holding angles, making those aggressive takes on towards sites, that's what makes TXD such a strong team in this group stage.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think, you know, they've got, they're more willing to take fights, right? Because fights equate information, and that's exactly what they want, even if they have to lose a member for it. And I think that's something that, at least for IG, they can look to improve, you know, make a little bit of contact, get the information that you need, and maybe ever once so often make a tempo breaker play, right? Do something that you usually wouldn't do in your regular matches or regular habits, just to kind of shake it up.
I think when we go into those habits that you mentioned about those irregular plays, yes, it's really great here, but this game is not really about mechanics. This specific series is more about fundamentals here, and as a team, TXD's fundamentals were just much more superior compared to the side of IG here. You can see the way that they formulate their attacks on towards the attacking side, which is the blacklist side, right? They were playing smokes really aggressively, sealing off any form of lurks with that smoke, and then going in with the information as the first member, potentially on towards Pamburu, going in for the information tick, and then once he gets one off or two off, that's when the entirety of the side of the TXD squad just enters the side with full-on aggression.
Yep, and I think one thing they can actually learn from TXD was being on that defensive side. You could see that even before they dry peek it, they are just throwing the nade, right? Because the nade is very scary if you get hit by it. It takes a huge chunk of your HP if it's within proximity, and can even one-shot you if it's right on top of you. So you will definitely start hearing noises if the predicted spot where you throw your grenade has people in it. It is a quote-unquote just a information gathering tool on top of the fact that it does damage.
And to talk about defensive side being played by TXD, we saw how Kachang played that sniper rifle to a really top caliber. The way that he was flicking, yes, really cool, but you can see the game plan here. The moment that they went over to the defensive side, that's when Kachang whips out the sniper rifle, and he doesn't have to do a lot of things. He just needs to make sure that he holds mid with that sniper rifle, and anyone that wants to go in for the aggressive mid-door push will get punished by it. And when the enemies knows like, oh man, first two rounds in the attacking side already got punished by Kachang here. So if you want to go in, there's already like a mental pressure forcing them to back off away from that mid-doors.
Yep, that's why they got to get into positions to maybe, smoke it off, maybe, break line of sight, or don't even make contact with that door in the first place. But unfortunately, a lot of these maps that do have mid really just cut right straight into spawn, almost all the way through, maybe turn a couple of corners and then you're already at spawn, right? So it's a very dangerous habit to get into, but at the very least, we are seeing improvement coming in from at least from a fundamental, and especially from a macro standpoint. I think some of these teams maybe aren't too refined when it comes down to when you see the flank, you see only one person. Is this the assumed flank or is this a fake, right? There's a lot of second guessing. There isn't a lot of oh yeah, for sure they're attacking the opposite side.
Yeah, I think it's more like you mentioned, right? Information gathering and deciding on whether the fact that you need to rotate more people on towards AB side to go back towards a full defense against your opponent's attack. Are they really full committing, or are they just baiting out some of the utils and getting information here? So as we really go in towards these larger series later on in the playoffs, that's where information gathering and getting intel for your team, that will be starting to be more important coming in for these top teams like O2 and also for the side TXD.
Yes, I think it will be important for them, but we'll see when it gets to that time, right? I think it's really, that's why these early rounds are super important, the first two rounds, just to get a rough idea of, are we on equal footing, or is this really going to come down to I shoot better than you?
Yeah, because in the first game that we saw, in the first round that we saw between TXD and IG, TXD, they had a numerical advantage, 3v2 against Yonzi and Zohiko, but the fact that Yonzi pure pressure through that site with multiple crossfires through mechanical prowess, yes, that's really amazing, but that really goes to show that it was a fluke coming in for the side of IG. With TXD having the better fundamentals, if they keep forcing these situations for Yonzi to perform, he'll eventually be punished and caught in that crossfire with the preset angles already being covered for the side of TXD.
I mean, Yonzi's trying to do the best that he can, right? Again, he went with his own tempo breaker, sneaking all the way right up until B site before he waited for the next sound cube before he swung out into two people. Chance that he could have opened up the entire B site with just that move alone, right? It's that risk and reward that he's willing to take, and I think that he understands that, yeah, if nobody on my team is going to do it, I will have to try and create an opportunity if we are scared to fight.
But of course, we do have to give props to the side of Yonzi here. One of the standout players in this tournament itself for the collaborative effort of a team as IG today. They did a really best TXD in that round 2, match 2 for the series here. So we'll be excited to see more of their performance going into that playoffs when they really go for that fateful reunion for that grand finals, because you need to be top 2 to make it into C Championship.
Yep, that's a whole entire goal here. And then even from C Championship, there's a bigger mountain to climb with people who've been having access to the game even earlier than some of our professionals, right? So again, it's going to be a really interesting time. We're going to go on a short break, and when we come back, it's going to be more CrossFire Legends champions in just a bit. Hey, don't forget to pre-register. But before we get into that, let's quickly look into the stats. Finally, get to look at some of these numbers.
Ooh, look at the side of TXD here. Kacang, Otok, and Pemburu here, covering a lot of firing ground for their team here. And Appy, we talk about it. KDA isn't the biggest of the worries here, because Appy is consistently getting info, getting intel for his team. Even if he sacrifices, he's already doing so much in terms of the back end, in terms of the macro side.
Yep, he is doing quite a lot. And I mean, if we're comparing the stats overall, just per capita, per person, per player, TXD is just able, on average, to get a little bit more than independent
Look at
gangs.
Yonzi.
Yeah, Leonzi, he is trying to carry this team, right? 17 kills in the bag. I think that his defensive side, this team is a little bit better on the defensive side, because then that's when Yonzi can get a little creative with the way that he plays. But on the attacking side, they really rely on him to find that first blood. And again, really great job. Our MVP goes over to Yonzi.
Yo, even if you lose with pride here. So Yonzi, one of the standout players in towards this series, especially with his aggressive side retakes, with his aggressive swings into multiple 1v3s. He's doing a lot of pressure against TXD. Although the score was 7-2, it wasn't easy for them. It was a lot of effort being put in by the side of TXD to work for this series.
So much work, in fact. But again, I do hope that they eventually continue to grow and they continue to develop other players who are just as good to stand toe-to-toe with Yonzi to create more opportunities for them when the situation happens.
Yep. If you want to be the next generation coming in for the CrossFire Legends esports scene, do drop a pre-register right now for the Southeast Asia server here. But of course, we will be heading on towards a short break for the CFLC before we bring you more action in towards the third series of the day later on. Hello, welcome back to the CrossFire Legends Championship National Qualifiers here in the Malaysia region. Once again, my name is Sagi. Along with me will be Gideon Q on the English broadcast today for this series. And of course, first two series, it blew through really quickly once again with O2 and TXD.
This is going to be a Swiss-style stage, so sorry there for my mic being muted there for a second. But yeah, with so much happening within the Swiss stage itself, getting at least 1 point is going to be good, but maybe you could even qualify if you just collect a couple more to just stay in those standings.
Okay, for right now, right, let me whip out that stat check right now. So Quadri Knights and Invoker Squad, they're both 0-3, tied for 5th and 6th place here. So whoever wins this carries the hope of these two teams to go up against MAL for that potential final spot into the playoffs here. So it's do or die for Invoker Squad and Quadri Knights. Whoever loses potentially might just lose out their entire group stage run to that playoffs hopes.
Ah, man, it's a dangerous time. It's a very dangerous time, but again, just means that there's going to be more stakes on this game, more pressures for these players to play through, and at the very least, both teams, I would imagine, would be of a similar skill level, unless there's even, smaller brackets within that bottom bracket.
Oh yeah, that bottom bracket will be an interesting one, and if MAL does lose it out, potentially we might see a triumph coming in from both Invoker Squad against Quarter Knights here. This will be series number 3 in day number 4, featuring Global Risk side for Invoker Squad and Blacklist side, the attacking side for the side of Quadri Knights. The map will be Black Widow once again.
Alright, let's see. Here by mid. Oh, Hybrid finds that first kill to kick things off for the Invoker Squad. This is going to be an A-side attack. One crawling through. Here's Caramel's POV as he makes it through catwalk to go up the stairs.
Yeah, short stairs here, taking a bit of a peek here though, but Grimond already holding fire here, 1v1 in towards the side of Zoe 7 here, picking off 2 members, allowing an easy side access here, but also having to cover the window though for the side of Invo.
Yes, Invoker Squad learning from their mistakes from before. Just making sure that, hey, we're not going to let anybody bust through that window and gun us down while we're planting. We've got everything covered, and from the low ground, and especially from this lower stairs from spawn, it's going to be difficult to push through that smoke, so they're going to nade it first. They could jump in the boxes and get info, but Zoe 7 jumps down to take on this aggressive 1v1, loses it as well.
Yeah, Grimo making a 2v4 here. The snipe does land on towards the side of Grimo. Hybrid getting back-to-back snipes. 3 for the man in the name of H. Hybrid, the MVP of round number 1.
Very nice round number 1 coming in from Hybrid as well. He's going to go back into that mid. I'm guessing that he's playing hold and tap because Hybrid hits it again. Just too fast, too quick.
That was an ego shot here. Hybrid 1v1 Roger with that sniper rifle, and it went so well in favor for the side of Invo's Hybrid here. Already 4-0, so clean here. But holding up fire here though, Revo gets punished by the side of Invoker Squad.
Oh, a huge nade for that position with nobody on the side itself. Wait, oh, there is one person, but Zoe takes him out with the help of the crossfire on the opposite side through jungle. Now, at this point, Hybrid, he's already opened up the map. He's done his job.
Gets caught off.
They weren't expecting the flank. They didn't expect them to walk through CT itself. And now, Hybrid by himself with a pistol. Can do it. Finds it. The bomb is planted already. SMG in hand. A little difficult, especially at that range.
He has to leave the room here as we see some nades being chunked in towards that small room window here. But how does he play this retake though? He's going in towards the plaza here, taking on the underbridger to see what he can realistically do. But he's taking too much time on the retake here. You need 6 seconds to defuse the bomb coming in from QK.
Yeah, he's not going to have enough time. And at this point, Invoker Squad have already got this in the bag here. This is purely just for willpower and ego. As you can see that even on the opposite side, Cal's just making sure that he's right by spawn side, waiting for that C4 to explode.
Too big of a rotation being invested for the side of the QK squad here. But fortunately enough, for the side of Invo here, there's still signs of error on the side planning here. They do enter the site with relatively ease, but when it comes to finalizing the plan, not the easiest task for the side of Invoker Squad.
Ooh, Invoker Squad completely juked them. Quadrate, they noticed pretty quickly, hey, nobody's looking through that mid window, what's going on? And now they're a little slow to drop down their util here. If they just spill in through sight, Invoker Squad, they've got this. And now, oh, we look at Roger. Looking for an opportunity to find at least one pick. He hides behind a wall, and luckily it's thick enough to protect him with multiple elevations. Zoe now successfully going to be able to drop the bomb.
Yeah, this will be a bit of a return rotation here coming in for side of Quatrain Knights here. Momon chunking out a nade into the doors here. And how does Greenmont play this 1v1 against Caramel here? They are exchanging nades. Hybrid gets the first blood on towards the side of Invoker Squad here, making it a 5v4 here. Clock is ticking. Quatrain Knights, you need to enter.
Well, the window has been a huge trap so far. But now that Invoker Squad is already in, they're trying to exit the site and hold off as many of the defending players as possible. They've got this in the bag, secure it already. And now it's pure ego as they start running out of the site, looking and hunting for the last remaining member to bring it to a 3-0.
Wow, to add insult into injury, they not only beat them in time, but they also beat them in the full clear ace on towards the side of Quatrain Knights here. And you can see, Hybrid here, ooh, almost gets a cheeky shot in towards that mid doors here.
Yep, they've got a high-low setup right now, making it really difficult to actually contest. Roger has to figure out who he's fighting first, and it looks like he's fighting lower side. Oh, how is that not a headshot? He manages to walk out of it just in time, and now with the mid smokes down, the catwalk can initiate as the attacking players for the entry here are pushing in from A long. Bomb holder still waiting, they're playing the smokes. Zoe goes in with the entry, and now he needs a little bit of backup from Cals. He goes down by the Lori side. Caramel comes through from jungle side and is able to find an opening pick here, allowing the A side to be dominated by the Invoker Squad.
Invoker Squad coming in with a very aggressive A side entry here. With the short approach here, they do in fact secure the full-on aggression. How does Roger play this? With 19 health bar and also a dream, he in fact has to let that dream go.
Caramel firing a lot of bullets. But again, they just deal with mid so well. Now they have to make a good call here. They can go with the AWM once again to look through mid just to get information. If you see somebody there, pray that you don't die. If not, the smoke starts coming through. You know that it's going to be an A. These are habits they need to pick up on right now.
But Roger, you can see he really went away from that sniper rifle into this AK-47 Titanium Beast here against the off angle, but he does punish the side of Greenmont in this aggressive take here. And this bomb site on A doesn't look good at the very least for Quatrain Knights.
Oh yeah, they're making sure that at the very least the jungle is going to be uncontested here by short. Now the smokes are starting to come through, and now they're spilling into the A side. Most of them already chunked. Rivolk's gonna be the first to go down. Mamon as well as Roger. This can be a cleanup. Dino and Zoe have taken so much damage. Look up the stairs, sir! Oh! Roger put down to 30% and wins the fight as he starts walking in. It's too late as Zoe 7 finds the trade.
Yeah, gets traded off here, and for Momo, he has to come in towards this bomb side. 1v2, can he clutch this? Because there is multiple angles he has to clear. Chucks out the molly here, looks for the retake here. He does go in for the bottom stairs, True Plaza. He has to play it fast. 12 seconds on the clock. You need 6 seconds to defuse, and I don't think you have enough time here.
Short lob. Drop down the flash, walks on through, sees the Lori. Unfortunately, a double swing coming in from Cals and Zoe to close out the round here in round number 5. And that's a 5-0, and so far, Quatrain Knights, they get close, but not close enough.
It's really down to perspective, right? It's down to 3v3s, but the way that they play the fights are very single out, coming in for side of Invoker Squad. And for Invo, they're playing on towards the mind game here. Immediately, with 0 members being invested by Quatrain Knights on towards the B side, this will be a pretty easy take side for B for Invo.
Aw, dude, you can shoulder peek it and stuff like that. There are ways to get information without putting yourself in too much risk, and they give up the entire B side because they weren't getting any information mid. They did not want to risk that first kill going over to Zoe, or especially Caramel, and in this case, Hybrid, who's currently 7-1.
Very aggressive take here coming in for the side of Invo squad here as they do get the first kill on towards Hybrid here. 3v4 for the side of Quatrain Knights as they look to retake the spot. Zoe playing very aggressively. Goes for the wide swing here. Gets the first kill here. Gets traded up by the side of Revo here. 70 seconds on towards the C4. They need to be quick on their plays here. Goes for the 1v1.
Ooh.
Gets mollied off. There's no way to enter this bomb site for the side of Quatrain Knights.
Absolutely none whatsoever. The smokes, the mollies, and the frags upon frags that was saved up by the Invoker squad because they had no resistance whatsoever walking into B. Yeah, that's how you hold down a site, right? Don't stand in obvious lineup areas. Don't stand right next to the bomb. Make sure the entries are difficult for the retake.
Now, with the series point on hand for the side of Invoker squad, they just need to play this final defense round with utter cleanliness, right? Hold sites like B and A, make sure that you get sufficient information that we talk about, and give your team sufficient room to rotate back into the defense.
Beautiful stuff coming in from Caramel here, but Roger puts him down into the dirt. Unfortunately for Caramel, he was jiggle peeking, right? And he thought, okay, there's no way he can hit this shot. Was severely wrong about that. Now the A execution begins as the flashes, and especially with a follow-up nade, goes good. Revox opens up the entirety of A short as well, and now they just need to make sure that they can clear off the last remaining member. They know he's behind the satellite lorry. They're gonna start flushing him out with util.
Yeah, just chugging in the nades, chugging in every single util in towards that corridor here. Dino here does get the first pick off here, but will be traded off, and that's score number 1 for the side of Quatrain Knights in this series.
Yep, coming through low ground spawn, very difficult to walk up, especially when the majority of the members from the attacking side have already busted through onto the A site. Now, once again, ooh, Dino hops across and Roger just grazes him ever so slightly.
That looks super insane here coming in for the side of Zoe, picking off by 4 members. He goes for an aggressive peek, but that is too aggressive here, Zoe.
Yep, he did not need to win that angle, but he tried to go for the wide swing anyways. He knew he was in front of the smoke, and now the flashes are going to start coming up. Another smoke set up to allow them to get into the cubby corner here on towards the A site now. They've rotated fast, but do they know about the potential flank coming up A short right now from Revox? He's gonna see Hybrid. Hybrid prepared for it.
Yeah, Hybrid here does get taken out to a very low health here, but 8-3 in terms of scoreline here. Cows peeking through this smoke very aggressively with the preemptive shots here. You can see the health bars coming in for Quatrain Knights is going extremely low as they want to approach this A bomb site, but the members are looking aggressively on towards the backside.
They're getting delayed here. They're getting split apart. The front is getting naded out while the back is getting hit by Molly, so they can't push to cover him.
Oh, he didn't check the corner!
Oh my god. They
FPS number 1, check the corners!
I mean, I wouldn't have checked that particular corner, because who would be there in the first place? It's a safe assumption coming in from the Quatrain Knights, especially since, wait, no, it's actually not a good assumption because they knew that somebody was coming through A short earlier when they made contact.
With a Winter Barrett and a Dream here, 25 seconds on the clock. He just needs to stall enough time and re-pick up that C4, but that will be a very difficult task here coming in for the side of Roger. He has his team's hopes. He's looking at it, but does he have enough time to go for the plan though?
He can if nobody disturbs him and only on the A side, but it looks like he found one. 6 seconds? No, he's missed the window already. He's gonna still look for as many as he can.
Yeah, 4 kills going in towards the hands of Hybrid here. Potentially the MVP player coming in towards this final match. Number 3, Invoker squad with the aggressive play setup on both attacking and defense. They claim the series with a 7-2 clean score.
Yep, and I thought maybe if they got denied off of that initial entry that they wouldn't play the at least the pre-plant in the long extended pre-plant to be so, honestly, so good for them, right? Because again, a lot of the players that we saw make things happen, Hybrid, or even we're looking on the opposite side, Roger as well, we're finding picks.
I think when you have the high ground coming in for the attacking side in this map, you don't go for the aggressive 1v1 on the sniper rifle if you are on the defensive side, because you saw for a fact that Hybrid in the first 3 rounds on that sniper rifle, he's just getting trade-offs, pickoffs every single time he picks mid.
I mean, that's when he gets a little, you know, a little egotistical, young Padawan Anakin. trying to say like Obi-Wan here. It's the high ground is a difficult position only because there's two elevations from the attacking side, right? You have to worry about not only that high ground ramp, but you also have to worry about the low ground ramp as well, just down long mid. So again, it's two separate angles that you have to clear individually, and sometimes the mid peaker doesn't peek out by himself. He has that high-low setup just to guarantee that they get a mid trade-off.
I think it's difficult, at the very least for me, right? When you're pointing your sniper from bottom all the way to top side, and there's an elevation, the flick that you need to do on PC, it's easier, but in a phone game, in CFL, not the easiest of suits here. That's why we see in the earlier exchanges in that mid door in Black Widow. For Roger, he was taking the short end of the stick here, and every time we see a sniper duel, it went in the favor for none other than the side of Invoker Squad here.
Yep, every single time, right? Well, maybe against some of the members got a little unluckier than others, you know, when Roger started to warm up and started to hit some crazy shots. But other than that, I think it really just came down to like stalling the initial site and picking up on habits, right? Because every single time that they saw somebody in the mid side on the Quatrain Knights defense, they guarantee know that it's going to be A, right?
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. It's picking up on these signals that these players need to start ingraining in themselves. It's a habit that they don't have just yet.
But that's the thing, right? When we saw that happen in one of the 2 rounds, immediately like, oh, he picked mid. Let's rotate our full squad into A and be like, hey, where's the Quatrain Knight members here? Because we're all in A. Who's guarding B?
And that's because why? Didn't peek mid. Didn't peek mid. You need the information. You need the lead key, the guaranteed signal. It's like seeing Yonzi go for an entry, right? It feels like you know who exactly is looking for a fight. You know exactly what the player likes, how he behaves. You know exactly who he is without seeing the IGN. Same thing coming in from Invoker Squad. They weren't really pushed to the limits in terms of like, oh, how many feints do we have to do? How many people how much util do we have to commit to sell the idea that we're moving to this side of the map?
And there is actually a very short fix on towards this here. You smoke mid, and then you invest like 2-3, 1-4, somewhere along the lines to at least gather information. At the very least, if your B side does get entered through by 5 men coming in on the attacking spawn, you still can go back towards your teammates in mid and then recuperate a retake on towards the cross map here. So for teams, it's really back to the drawing board. Yes, their mechanical prowess is really up there, but in terms of the macro gameplay, how they invest resource in towards specific sites on A and B, that's something they need to work on.
Yeah, especially that A short angle. Again, they don't as much as they want to rely on one person to handle the mid section, the mid angles alone. I think at a certain point you should probably get one of the A defenders to actually walk on over down into catwalk. Maybe go for like a flash play and contest the space just to make sure that the lower ground is clear, and then you can communicate that back to your sniper. Hey, just worry about the top side. Lower ground, I just peeked it, didn't see anybody.
Yeah, didn't see anybody, and make sure that all these potential entry points, you get some info, right? When you get info, that's how you can better up your decision making. But at the very least, this goes to show professional teams like TXD and also O2 Esports, the quality in terms of team play here. Not to underplay the Open Series team, but the difference in terms of competitive experience definitely shows in a team game like CrossFire Legends.
The one thing I do have to say that's great about both of these teams is that they're learning how to use their utils well, right? Again, the post-plant discipline of like, okay, one person, you fake the sound first, we throw the nades, and then you plant in the safe spot. Like little things like that can really shake up a team.
And to your point, that's lesson number 1. And we saw in one of the games as well how Invoker Squad played, I think it was A site, when the side of their enemies tried to re-enter A side. It was very difficult. They were just chugging out utils on the only possible entries, holding off the crossfire angles, making sure that, hey, you want to come in, you better be paying dividends in terms of your teammates' health bars.
See, that's the thing. On the defending side, I think most people feel like, oh, attacking side is so easy. We go in, we plant the bomb, we defend bomb. That's it, straightforward gameplay. But I think on the defensive side, there's a lot more creativity that you can actually do. You can double confirm people's fakes. You can see if somebody is actually trying to sell an idea, which is what we saw coming into round, if I remember correctly, round 6.
I think around there, yes.
This is where we saw the double loop around actually happen down by the mid lane, where they planted one of the defenders by Catwalk's corner, and then they caught the reinitiation onto the A just because of that, right? Planting people in anchored spots can also guarantee you information that most defenders won't have access to.
That's why when you attack, you need to gather resources. The information is super duper important to make sure that the lurkers on your team make sure that, hey, I don't see 4 members, I only see 2, so make sure that when you lurk, you check your corners. Yeah, but experience really matters, same as communication here, because every single round is only in 2 minutes, and decision-making composure plays a big part towards it. But let's check out the match results here with Hybrid 11-3-1 on that kill, death, and assist. He was making some of the big plays in from early rounds towards the final few moments.
Oh yeah, and he was even swapping out with Lil Bro Caramel sometimes on that sniper, and that's where Roger was able to at least find one. But on the opposite side, on the side of the Quattro Knights, yeah, I mean, even Zoe has a pretty good KDA, but if we compare it, because Zoe's KDA compared to someone like Gary Maut, I think that Gary Maut was holding off pretty well, because he was like one of the main defenders by the A side. He was taking a lot of hits.
He was just sitting like, hey boys, where's the rotation here? I'm holding out 5 members coming in from Invoker Squad. I can't do it no more because Hybrid, the MVP coming in towards this match number 3, he's just too darn solid on that AWM rifle.
Yep, he really makes sure that the entirety of the lurks are completely shut down. The fact that Hybrid is able to control A short that well, especially during the post plants, is such a power position. Especially once you get the Lori satellite plant.
Yeah, Lori Satellite Plan guarantees you a lot of these crossfire angles. That's why we talk about it, right? So how do you deal with these side takes on the backside with these crossfire angles? Simple. You save your nades and you chug it in and force the position coming in from the defenders.
There's definitely a lot of things like, oh, you need to guarantee a certain number of util before you can make that choice. Because at the end of the day, these grenades are limited. Everybody's limited to 1 nade of each type. You can't have multiple frag grenades or multiple smoke grenades, for an example, right? So if they can get a certain amount of util from their opponents, they can actually just give up the site. And that's what I want to see for the upcoming days.
Yeah, fully agree. When you plan your utils well, know when to use it on attack side, know when to use it on the defensive side, it gives you more choices when opportunities and situations come down to those minute breakers here. And right now, with the overall leaderboard, we do see O2 leading the charge with a 4-0 clean score, leading the group stage. And TXD and IG currently tied in 3-1. And the lower part is where the action starts coming here. MAL and Invo will be contesting for that final spot to that playoffs.
They will be contesting it. Ah, man. Want to see how that's going to... If we had to play it all again, would it be different? Would TXD versus O2 be different? Would IG versus O2 be different, man?
So far, in terms of quality of play, O2 and TXD are really close with one another, so that's gonna be an interesting one. But of course, tomorrow will be the final group stage day coming in for the Malaysian qualifiers here. We start today with TXD going up against Quatrain Knights. Quatrain Knights looking to get that first victory on towards the group stage, and then MAL versus Invo. What better way of deciding who goes to playoff than a straight up showdown between the two teams? And finally, round robin 15 featuring IG versus O2 Esports. O2 Esports yet to suffer any single form of defeat in this entirety of the group stage.
I'm really curious to see how IG is going to handle O2. It's going to be a very short period of time for them to start adapting and even doing some research on how O2 plays, because generally speaking, the only team that has really forced out strats from them is TXD, but they are following a lot of strong fundamentals which IG can start, picking up on. Good habits like trading.
The habits that we talk about, right, like IG at the very least, you see members like Yanzi, he has very good mechanical prowess. So for O2 Esports, right now for them, not the greatest of the suit here, because we do see that O2, yes, you have very strategic plays in post-plan and pre-plan, but there's some shy moments where they still mess up in terms of those individual plays.
Now, speaking of which, if we are talking about the standings, TXD and as well as IG are currently at the same score. So, O2 versus IG will technically, sort of. It also kind of depends on how TXD faces off against QK. If QK wins, then it's a different story. But assuming that TXD beats QK, then IG versus O2 will predetermine who is going to be the first seed.
At the very least, TXD versus QK, like you mentioned, right? It'll be like 4-1, IG. If they beat O2, it'll be 4-1. So it's like gonna be like what? A 3-way tie? So how does it move forward here? Because I do believe that if you're top 2, maybe you secure a better placement into that playoffs.
You will secure a little bit of a better placement in playoffs, and hopefully, you know, that will be for tomorrow for you guys to find out. Because again, CrossFire has been pretty exciting with the way that these teams are playing, and they're getting better with each and every passing day. So we'll see how much they evolve in the next short period of time.
Time is really an SM at this point here, but fortunately for TXD, IG, and O2 Esports, they do comfortably secure themselves already in that playoff spot. The question is, Invoker Squad and MAL, who gets that final spot? That's going to be a really interesting one.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to decide because only one of these teams can truly be the greatest, just like our sponsors here. But once again, thank you to Oppo so much because it's one of those phones that is built to last and also feels like it's absolutely brand new. Because see the Oppo A6 Pro kini dilancarkan here today, boys. So you can get one right from your shops at local stores. Go online on any platform, you'll see it there.
Yep, it's really a very good phone to actually play CrossFire Legends into, so do check it out real quick here. But of course, our upcoming sponsor that we have to give a shout out as well will be OBS Bot here. If you're interested into a reliable and affordable 4K camera, do check out the OBS Bot Meet 2 gaming webcam here. Rakam keunggulan Anda, stream legacy Anda, one of the best webcams out there that serves its function. It does come with AI as well.
Yep, it helps you catch those moments here, especially when you're making that play and you're like, I wish somebody filmed that. Guess what? Somebody already was. Now, thank you so much for watching. Please come and pre-register for CrossFire Legends. Maybe you could compete in the next championship. If you think that these guys aren't up to snuff and you can do better, now's the time to prove it.
Yeah, now is really the time to prove it because this pre-register will go on until 16 December thus far here. So, you know for a fact that when you go in for that pre-registration, there's always these goodies, there's always these diamonds that you can actually buy those nice equipments here. I do really like that AK-47 Mulan that you keep talking about.
It's there for us. For us, it's only one diamond, but it's gonna be different once the game gets released. With that being said, thank you so much for watching the CrossFire Legends Championship for the Malaysian qualifiers. Of course, the one and only Sagi and me getting Q. Closing it out here tonight. We'll catch you guys here for tomorrow for some more CFLC Malaysian qualifiers.
Double kill, multi-kill.